Now, Beijing time.
This is Beijing Time, and I'm Annie O'Hanlon. I'll be your guide to this ever-evolving city. Every day here you learn something new, whether it's about food, technology, culture, everything. That's exactly why I wanted to make this show, to share with you guys what I'm seeing and learning, and maybe even convince a few of you to come and join me. This city is crazy, and everything changes every day. But today we're focusing especially on creation and innovation. Let's see exactly what's in store.
And I haven't still figured out one of the best ways to learn Chinese.
And I came back to the motherland to look for a job.
A band of men from the grasslands of Inner Mongolia are sweeping across the world. This time as Mongolians wielding guitars and banjos.
The amazing thing about the people of Beijing is that even in this fast-paced world, they still hold on to their history and all the traditions that come with it. We've still got the hutongs, beautiful gardens, and the old architecture. But it's not all about holding on to the old. Beijing is also about embracing the new. Things like fashion, technology, we're all about keeping up to date. I'm sorry, I just got a text. Where's my phone? Oh, I'll just ring it. Oh, you're looking at my watch? Pretty cool, huh? Check this out.
In the past, when we talked about clocks or watches, we only thought of them as telling the time. Now with the popularity of smartphones, more and more wearable devices are being produced to work with them, including watches. T-Fire, a smartwatch made by a Beijing company, is a smartphone accessory communicating with your phone via Bluetooth wireless technology. Means you can leave your phone in your pocket as you answer or reject a call, read messages from friends, or check the weather. But if you've already got a smartphone, why do you need a smartwatch? Wang Wei, CEO of Beijing Tamun Best Tech Company, explains.
可穿戴产品的方向和趋势，我相信大家都可以看得到，也可以预期的，就是未来。就是人们对自己的健康，对于自己的这个生活的管理，对于智能化的这个要求会越来越高。我想手机有手机的问题，没有办法一直在手上嘛，只有可穿戴能干这件事情。
There is no doubt that 2014 will be the year of the smartwatch. We've seen some major companies launching their new smartwatches like Pebble, Samsung Galaxy Gear, and the Sony Smartwatch 2. And people are waiting to see what Apple's iWatch will look like. When these smartwatches are sold in the Chinese market, how will Tamun do with its T-Fire? Wang Wei explains.
我觉得苹果可能更能代表这个产品的方向啊，它是这个行业的巨头嘛，然后也可以在某种意义上，它可以定义这个智能手表的这个产品，所以我们其实是很期待 iWatch 尽快能推出来，这样也好。让市场变得更加这个明确。
Wang Wei believes T-Fire's advantages will attract many Chinese people. He says they're making the world's first flexible, ultra-thin touchscreen e-link electronic watch. It has many advantages such as low power consumption, and people can read it even in bright sunshine. In terms of fashion, T-Fire's colors will also meet domestic consumer demand for beauty as far as possible. Most importantly, the low price of 699 yuan, or about $115 will be sure to attract many customers. Wang Wei also has a dream of promoting T-Fire to the overseas market, but when he does, he'll make sure his smartwatch is perfected in the Chinese market.
当时我的合伙人从美国回来，就定了一个这个计划，是我们需要尽快的去打开国际的市场，尤其是北美。包括欧洲，我们都有这样的计划。通过亚马逊这样的平台，很容易就可以推广出去。但是事实上，我们是觉得我们需要在国内先把产品尽可能测试的时间再长一点，再完美一点，然后再推向国际市场。
So just as smartphones have led to the decline of desktop computers, how long will it be before wearable devices outlast smartphones? We'll just have to wait and see. trying to catch a taxi in Beijing just by waving your hand can take a long time, especially in rush hours. But now if you use taxi apps, you can not only save your time but can also save a bit of money. That's because recently 2 Chinese mobile apps for smartphones, Didi Dache and Kuaidi Dache, are locked in battle, backed by internet giants Tencent and Alibaba. They are now both applying financial means to attract users and drivers. They'll give promotion fees to taxi drivers for each deal made, and also discount 10 yuan for each taxi passenger when a customer takes a taxi through the app and pays the fare through their mobile. Far from being a battle about taxi passengers, the real reason the internet giants are at loggerheads is to become the main online payment method in a market of 1.3 billion consumers, 700 million of whom are already online. Starting with taxis, they hope people will change their way of buying things with smartphones, from restaurant meals to high-tech consumer goods, so that they can build huge consumer databases. It's not just a war between 2 taxi apps, it's more like 2 internet giants fighting for the O2O market in China. O2O, which stands for online to offline rather than B2C, or business to consumer, tries to attract and find consumers online and bring them into physical stores. Because not everything can be bought online, packed in a box and delivered to your home. If you want to see a new movie, eat a delicious meal in a French restaurant, or take a taxi at rush hour, O2O helps you find related businesses such as the nearest cinema or restaurant, and also offers discount coupons while it contacts hundreds of drivers to pick you up. In China, group buying is a typical O2O example, giving consumers and traders a platform through apps. They give people different businesses to choose from to visit their offline stores at a low price.
团购一般大家是觉得它便宜，所以团购吧。而且就是团购下面也会有一些大家点评，然后就觉得看一下合不合适，然后再去团，所以说就感觉比较有保障一点。
Through the group buying market, the O2O business is developing gradually in China. Even though the O2O space has already grown quickly in recent years, some Chinese consumers still have different kinds of opinions about new payment technologies.
目前来看，我觉得还是不太可能吧，因为有些时候还是现金方便一些，完全用支付宝或者微信也不太现实吧。
我觉得更多的是方便改变了我们的一些消费方式。就以前大家都给现金啊什么的，现在谁还给现金啊？现在要么刷卡，要么就直接用支付宝了，也算是一种潮流吧。就年轻人大家都用，觉得还挺新鲜，还挺好玩的，就觉得是一个时代的一种变化。
The internet has drastically changed Chinese people's way of life and consumption. As smartphones get more and more popular, they'll play an important role in linking businesses and consumers through a selection of apps. Whether you need your car repaired, your haircut, or want to buy your girlfriend a bunch of flowers, you can pay for it all through your smartphone rather than cash or bank cards.
Elichi remembers when his father got drunk.
Beijing's air pollution is hardly news anymore. Many companies might be thinking, how can we make money by helping people breathe more easily and safely? Well, makers of air purifiers are among those making a killing from the current muggy weather. But how big can the market be? Song Guangsheng, the director of China's Indoor Environment Monitoring Committee, told us.
预计到2015年，中国目前室内空气净化的产业的产值将达到1000个亿，现在大概是在500到800亿。
According to statistics from China Market Monitor, in 2012, national sales grew by 12.5% or 1.26 million items. But in 2013, air purifier sales almost doubled by 90.5% or 2.4 million a year. Beijing made up a quarter of the increase. It seems when smog and haze first hit Beijing in 2012, people just thought about buying a mask. Now the poor air quality has become a regular feature. People want more protection indoors. Many brands have targeted this market. Toshiba and Panasonic have opened factories in China, and even companies who don't specialize in electrical appliances have entered the market, including lighting company CN Light and healthcare equipment company Easapal. Customers also seem to prefer foreign brands which have more than 80% of the market. Now, the Chinese government has realized it's high time for a compulsory national standard to regulate the air purifier market. Many air purifiers advertise they can remove more than 90% of the smallest pollutants, or PM2.5, but many exaggerate their claims. The government will release a revised national air purifier standard to inform customers on how well the products actually work. you ever wondered where the next big ideas come from?
用阅读模式的话，你只用这样的三个一核捏成一个手电筒的形象，它便可以从一侧发出光源。
不停的组合，然后可以当一个手机，甚至可以当一个 pad， 直接吸附在智能家居的墙面上，它可以实现无线充电，自动推送亲朋好友的照片，与你远方的朋友进行 FaceTime 的沟通。
最终我们要想实现一种场景，就是解放你的大脑，然后把你的双手给解放出来。
Well, here in Beijing, there's a special space where budding young entrepreneurs can demonstrate their new inventions to an audience that includes some of the world's largest tech companies.
我们最开始就是希望能够把这些创客们聚集在一起，进行跨界交流。像有艺术家，然后有设计师，然后有硬件工程师、软件工程师，一半是专业人士，另一半就是纯粹的爱好者。他们都聚在一起，碰撞一个 idea， 然后最后实现它。 这次呢是和联想合作的，做了一个限定的主题，叫 What's Your Dream Tablet， 就是大家尽可能的创想就可以。
It was compulsory that every group had engineers, so they were evenly spread out over the 5 different groups. Other professionals and enthusiasts could join in with any group they wanted to.
其实评分呢从3个方面，一个是创意，第二个是完成度，第三个是团队协作。
Our director Vera Luo took a look at the incubator startup workshop, Makerspace, in the city's Haidian district, where 48 hours of creative imagination took place over a weekend. So tune in to the next episode, where we'll find out more details about what exactly a dream tablet is.
Still figured out one of the best ways to learn Chinese.
I came back to the motherland to look for a job.
Grasslands of Inner Mongolia are sweeping across the world. This time, as Mongolians wielding guitars and banjos.
All right, now it's time for me to answer any questions that you guys have sent in. If you have a question, anything at all, then my email address is annie@bon.tv, or alternatively, you could tweet me at It's Beijing Time. All right, let's see who our first question's from.
Hello, my name is Kauka. I'm from Republic of Georgia. I'm here in Beijing already 2 years, and I haven't still figured out one of the best ways to learn Chinese. Could you give me some advice?
As I'm sure you know, Beijing is full of foreigners, and many of them are learning the language. But what exactly are they using? Well, what I'm going to do is get a bunch of my colleagues to answer that one for you. After all, everyone is different.
I use this app on my phone, and it's been super useful for whenever I need it. It's called Pleco. This is it, Pleco. And I use it for characters, or maybe to show a taxi driver or something if I need to go somewhere. And then after exposure to the word over and over again, I'd be able to remember it, and it helped to write it down, of course. And as long as I had it in my pocket, readily available, I was able to teach myself a lot of my Chinese.
Yeah, talk to local people, talk to coworkers, talk to friends. Just being around it every day, you know, seeing it on signs, hearing it. I think a big part of it comes from just listening to it.
I basically go to a private school in Wudaoko. It's called Dijiucun. It's just 1.5 hours a day. I also study by myself. I try to use language tapes. I find those to be quite useful.
Anyway, let's have a look at our Twitter account to see who's asked us a question on there. And there's someone who wants to know how to find a job. Well, 2 things. Firstly, congratulations in advance. And secondly, I know exactly the place you can find one. Here's my friend to give you the answer.
Hi, I'm Dan Liang. I come from the United Kingdom, and I came back to the motherland to look for a job. A great site to use is LinkedIn, because there's loads of jobs. You can connect to a bunch of places, and you can connect to media companies or education companies, and you can look for jobs. It's really, really useful. I've been in Beijing for about half a year now, and that's how I got my job, by connecting to someone on LinkedIn and sending a message. So yeah, I recommend LinkedIn.
hope those answers helped some of you guys out today. And if you have anything else to ask me, then send them in to annie@bon.tv or shoot me a tweet at It's Beijing Time. Speaking of live music, I went to this really cool gig a while ago, and I even got to go behind scenes to meet the amazing musicians and find out their story. In fact, I documented it for you guys. Check this out.
Hungai is made up of 7 band members, 5 of whom are from Inner Mongolia. The word Hungai is a Mongolian word referring to the natural landscapes of the grasslands, the mountains, the rivers, and the blue skies, all in one place.
可能我们天生就是比较崇尚那种自由的状态吧。
Many people feel caught in a bind. Maybe it's because we naturally want more freedom.
一回去
Every year when we go back home from the city, we feel better.
你这车开到内蒙以后
For example, it's hard to describe how comfortable you get when smelling the cow dung and grass on the way back to Inner
觉
Mongolia.
得特别舒服，心里边，没法形容那种感觉。后来就
Once we had returned from filming our MTV shoot,
捡2块牛粪
we，picked up a piece of cow dung.
有时候闻一下那个感觉是
Its smell reminded us of Mongolians' love for their
就是
hometown.
蒙古人对那个故乡的那种感情吧，特别特别深。
Ilichi, the creator of Hungai, was born and raised in the prairies of Inner Mongolia before moving to Beijing at the age of 12. In Beijing, he said he still felt a calling to his Inner Mongolian roots.
我很小的时候就我爷爷就是叫我唱那个蒙古歌。
The small town I grew up in is surrounded by grassland with shepherds wearing Mongolian traditional clothing.
有穿着蒙古袍牧民。
People loved singing there.
然后另外就是说城市里面那个氛围吧。
You could hear them singing when passing restaurants.
有这个音乐在里面。你要路过一个饭馆什么的。
My hometown is a place full of music.
就唱的，就从外边就能听见。 话就是说比较讲味道。
I didn't really know much about music when I was younger, but my father always wanted more feeling
我也
in
不理解，怎么就不对呢？唱的都是一样的歌吗？
Early on, he always complained that what I sang didn't have the Mongolian feel.
那种味道。
After I kept listening to Mongolian
后来
songs,
我也
I
是
started to figure out
费了
what he
很长
meant.
时间就
I
听了
lacked the feelings a
不
shepherd
断地听
felt when he faced his
慢慢
meadows,
明白他说的那个道理。酗酒之后
especially
呢
with fury and rebellion
开始
towards our
想做一
society.
些老药。
Abandoned the idea because it seemed too far away from
就
our
是
real
这个
life.
这音乐和你其实有距离。
Outside the studio, Ilichi was an airplane mechanic at the capital airport. His life was occupied by work and band practice. When he heard that a master of Humai, a Mongolian throat singing technique, was coming to Inner Mongolia's capital to teach, he knew that he had heard his calling.
有一天，我一个朋友就给我打电话，
A friend called me one day and he said there was a teacher in Hohhot who could teach you how to sing like that in a few days.
声音了，然后我当时就觉得应
I
该
thought I
去
should go, so I went there on the second day.
到了呼市就直接去
I went to
找
the
这个
teacher right
上课
after I arrived in Hohhot, then I took lessons from him for 2
学
weeks.
了2个星期，那会儿我就
By then, I could already do it.
当时还在机场上班
I
嘛。
was working at the
然后
airport at that time,
着急回
so I
去
had to leave for work. But the teacher asked me to stay and learn for 1 more week, so I totally studied for 3 weeks.
回北京以后就是
After I got back to
没事
Beijing, I
放一个
practiced
户
Hu
外的
Mi
歌
in my free time.
我就跟着他唱。
After his lessons, Ilichi started to consider a new direction for his band.
转型做杭盖。
When we first transformed from rock to Hungai, I did not feel right about it. The music was not good enough for me. We started to sing folk music with traditional
就
instruments.
是感觉那音乐不太对
We
劲
did。it slowly, and our shows were based on
就
it.
演出啊什么的，有的时候观众就1、2个人，
We only had 7 or 8 fans, and we performed every
多
week.
了来7、8个人，
We did not think too much. We took those concerts as practice.
反正就是能演，就是连演就是带练的，等于是。